Well, welcome, welcome. I'm Reverend Karen. I'm the senior minister of this amazing community that has really changed my life. So, it's so funny. The whole week I've been thinking about, I'm going to talk on community. That is like asking a fish to talk about water. You know? We live it here. One thing that I have always loved about this wonderful living organism that is the New Vision Center, and that is that we are not an intellectual congregation. Although we do love to go deep into the studies to learn what Dr. Ernest Holmes has discovered and to share that. But more, for me at least, I feel that we are a community that loves and lives out this teaching. And I was reminded of that in the foundational class that we just completed, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life, where 27 beloveds completed this foundational class, which is amazing. And one of the beloveds in the last day shared that for the first time, because this is a new curriculum, and for the first time, they really felt like they experienced this teaching. So they were able to make that journey from the head to the heart. And that is what we are all about. So today, my talk is the quality of the heart, and that is, as we will find out, really what community is. It is our willingness, our ableness, our readiness to open our hearts to that which is all around us, which is community. And to start us off, I thought we would go ahead and have an experience. Let's see if I can share with you kind of through osmosis, because words are so limiting. But that feeling that I receive every time I set foot here onto the campus, every time I log in to a Zoom meeting with beloveds and we plan something for this community. So I invite you right where you are to just allow your eyes to close. And this works in the sanctuary as well as all the beloveds who are joining us via our online campus. And just arrive here fully, loved up by all the good that has already taken place and all the good that continues to be shared naturally as we are together. I invite you to expand that feeling tone of yourself just in your mind's eye to enclose those who are close by. Just feel the love, the light that is present here. Wherever you find yourself, when you hear these words, take a moment. If it's safe, close your eyes and feel what I imagine a fish feels in the water. The love, the peace, the presence of the divine that is made manifest by means of other beloveds, by means of nature. It is everywhere. And then I invite you to allow your eyes to open and look around. Look around at the beloveds who are on this journey with you. Perhaps just for this next hour, perhaps for longer, perhaps for 20 years. community, and this sense of belonging is what we're talking about today. What does belonging mean to you? I've been thinking a lot about that in preparation for this talk and just in general, because as many of you know, community kind of is my theme, right? That's my theme. Community. I just met somebody who calls himself a community architect. I'm like, oh, I like that. I like that, a community architect. So what does belonging mean to you? You know, for me, it means I'd rather be in that place, here, now, than any other place. I'd rather be present to wherever I am at the moment rather than any place else. Now, I don't know about you, but I have times in my life where I was at places and my entire being wanted to be someplace else. Can you relate to that? It's really scary when it is in a committed relationship. It's really, yeah. All right, that was kind of funny. Not this one, not this one. I'll let you in on a little secret. I wanted to illustrate how fundamental for our life belonging is and connection. And there's a particular study that I heard when I was in high school in Germany in the 70s, long time ago, right? So I ran it by Tom, my beloved, and he said, no, don't use that one. Because I just wanted to let you know that it's not this relationship I want to not be in. But he had a really good point. When we think about belonging, unfortunately, all the studies that have been done to show us how important it is end badly. End badly because they take that fundamental need away from the subjects, and it never ends well. So we're not going to go there today. We are talking about the positive things about connection. I've been looking a lot at several books, and one of the themes that I could find and that resonated with me is Maslow's pyramid of needs. I think most of us are familiar with it, where the very bottom part of the need pyramid is physiological. We need air, water, housing, those things. And then he moves it up into the next layer, safety. And then the third layer in this pyramid that he created about in 1948 is love and belonging. Now, we as a human species have evolved since the 1950s. And I am so happy to have found many pyramids that actually bring the need for love and belonging to the very basis. And one of those was created by this wonderful author by the name of Radha Agrawal. And so she has this wonderful pyramid that shows us that connection and belonging is fundamental. And it's a basic human right. And what she says is that belonging and community helps us to move ourselves up the pyramid. In Maslow's pyramid, the highest level one can achieve is self-actualization. In this particular one, it is joy. So I'm studying this book that goes through the different layers and shows that community, belonging, is essential at every level. And I want to say, well, duh. But for some people, that is news. For some people, this idea to be in community, to be intimate with a lot of people, as we are this morning here, to allow ourselves to remove the masks and to be who we are. For many, it is a yearning to find that, and yet they don't have it in their lives. There's that wonderful quote. And no, that is not a typo. His name, or her name, I don't know, is Noam Spancer. And we hear that human beings fundamentally are distinctly, spectacularly social. That is a description of the New Vision Center. We are spectacularly social. Lonely and isolated, we cannot survive, let alone thrive. And I think if anything, the pandemic has taught us that that's really true. One of the reasons why we have such a thriving community is because we were uniquely positioned to pivot over quickly to connect online in various ways. Do you remember our beloved practitioners having 2 sessions every day on Zoom? Everybody was invited to just come in and connect. And I had one beloved who actually said, I believe that the New Vision Center saved my life through the pandemic because I was all alone. If you receive our newsletter, you know that I have requested and asked if you would be willing to share some joys and sorrows. And oh my, yes, so many responded and shared their joys and sorrows. And so I want to share a couple here. And please know that we can't share all of them because so many came in, but I want to share these. And for those of us who listen, I just invite you to uplift the beloveds and see them as they are sharing vulnerably what is happening in their lives. Catherine says, my joy is participating in an amazing New Vision Circle and influenced by this, launching a secular senior circle in my older adult community. Now my garden blossoms with a book about how to ease social isolation in senior living communities. Wow. We hold up Madison. She says, some of my joy is to have my family and friends supporting me through my 2nd surgery this year in a loving and compassionate manner. My sorrow is that I've had a few complications that are extending out my recovery, different than the 1st surgery. I'm knowing it is all for my highest and best, but it's still upsetting at the moment. Liz shares, my sorrow is my dad had another developing tumor after just having cancer surgery in June. My joy is to have yet another venue to display my paintings in Scottsdale. Ron shares, my joy is to realize the manifestation of lifelong dreams, unconditional love in a beautiful, loving home. My sorrow is seeing the division of our very society when we get trapped by all the me, instead of the we. And so those are some excerpts. Community is not rocket science. It is not difficult. it does require us to show up, to be willing to give our gifts, to be willing to show up not only when we are on top of the world, but most importantly, when we are not, when something happened, when life threw us a curveball. Those are the times when we can lean into the support that we have established. Henry Nouwen, the beloved, who ended up, after looking for community all through his life, to move into L'Arche, a community that is supporting developmentally handicapped individuals and individuals of all ableness to live together. He says that community is first of all a quality of the heart. It grows from the spiritual knowledge that we are alive, not for ourselves, but for one another. Community is the fruit of our capacity to make the interests of others more important than our own. And I do believe that this idea that when we enter into community, that we kind of give ourselves away and only are there for the others, I think that that is a point that has people shy away from it. That has people say, I don't know that I want to do that. And I think it's so important for us to recognize and realize that as we are going out into the world, giving our gifts, being our unique selves, to create that beautiful spoked wheel that Jeff read about, as we do that, we are connected to that which we all came from. We might call it spirit, God, first cause, infinite intelligence, whatever word works for you. And the more we can remember that we have our being in that hub at the very center, it allows us to blossom out into the world and look at the magnificent things that are being created in the name of love by means of individuals of this community. Next month, we're having another Taizé in the park, an idea that was born in the mind of one of us, beloved David, who said, I would like to take what we have to offer here and bring it out into the world. The circle in one of the continuous care homes here around it that we just heard about. All ideas that have been born because we recognize, we can see how valuable, how essential community is and taking into the world. I love that saying that what we do with a call is different for everyone. But what has called us to give the gift, that is the quality of love. That is one and the same. And so that quality of love, Paul Tillich says it so beautifully. Only the principle of love can recreate continually new guidelines in a changing world. And oh my, is our world changing. Love alone can transform itself according to the demands of individuals in individual situations without losing its unconditional validity. Only love is eternally flexible and eternally relevant. And so what do we do with that love that we feel, that impetus of growth, the impetus of sharing life, of giving our gifts, of being who we came here to be? Well, in spiritual community, we really think about that we envelop and develop individuals. We envelop all the beloveds who are walking through a challenging time. We're enveloping those who might feel themselves on the outskirts for whatever reason. We envelop beloveds and just meet them right where they are and intend to bring them a little closer to the fire, closer to the hearth, closer to the realization that who you are is God made manifest. And so we bring forth the tools of this teaching to help you discover who you truly are. That is the envelop part of it. And the develop part of it is that those who happen to be a little healthier because they walked through their own fire, they walked through their own dark night of the soul, and they have healed the wounds that they showed up with, and they ask, what now? What now? And I do believe that as a community, we are called forth to help develop ways of stepping in even more. A great example is our music ministry. So many beloveds are saying, you know, I always thought about stepping in and sharing the gift of my voice. This is the time I'm stepping up. There are individuals who take on leadership. They feel that they have helped, that they have healed, revealed the truth about themselves, and they are now ready to step into leadership. All of those things we lovingly call the developing part of the mission and the ministry that is New Vision Center. And here is a secret. It is not done by Reverend Leslie or by myself, by any other minister on our ministerial staff. No. You know who it needs to be done by? You know who needs to step up and say, I will go ahead and I will envelop and I will develop? You know who it takes? Yes. I'm looking at you. All of us, everyone. Because this living organism that is the New Vision Center is not something that was created on paper somewhere and now just moves. It is a life organism that needs you to step in, to heal what needs to be healed, to reveal the truth of who you are, and to be very clear, this is how I want to develop further, and this is how I want to share myself with the world. I am so grateful that we are together on this journey to discover how this can look for each and every one of us. Thank you. And now we're going to anchor this in prayer. As I speak in the affirmative prayer, our form of communing with the divine. And I invite every practitioner in training, every practitioner who is present here, every minister, I invite you to stand. And the reason for that standing is to let Spirit know, I am ready. And as a matter of fact, whoever feels I am ready to envelop and develop, I ask you to just rise and let us proclaim this truth together, that there's one power, one presence, that the divine is everywhere, in the beautiful sunrise, in the sunset, on a cloudy day, right where we are, the divine is. For we are its hands, its feet, its eyes, its heart. And as we consciously step into this awareness, we open our hearts and recognize that the qualities of the divine are at the very center of our being. And so we say, I am love, I am peace, I am joy. And we allow ourselves to feel the very hub of love at the center of our being. And from this place of deep connection, we speak our word. And we proclaim peace in our lives, harmony in our relationships, abundance in our affairs. The eternal loving kindness, the eternal grace of Spirit pouring itself in, through, and as us. And we feel gratitude bubbling up from deep within, the gratefulness, how life works. And so we simply let it be. We call this good and very, very good. As we place this word into universal law, the law that always says, yes, yes, my beloveds, it's already done. We let it go. And so it is.